Hello, I'm John Fain and welcome to the Halliday Wine Companion Awards for 2022. It's my absolute privilege to be your host for the second year running. COVID has presented challenges as it has for all of you, it has also for us, but we will continue in different circumstances. Now, James Halliday continues to passionately lead the team. He'll be announcing the varietal winners for these awards this year. And he joins us with a message to kick off the presentations.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 2022 Halliday Wine Companion Awards. I can't be with John tonight, but I do have this virtual opportunity. The involvement of the entire panel gave everyone a real-time opportunity to discuss the quality and style of this great lineup of wines. The year has been one of seemingly endless challenges, but met by teamwork and the guiding hand of Tyson Stelzer. With a superb 2021 vintage, all stakeholders have every reason to look forward to the coming year. So my congratulations to the winners and finalists of this year's awards, and I look forward to an exciting year ahead.
Thank you, James. Great to hear from you right up at the start. Now, throughout the course of the presentations, Tyson Stelzer will be joining us from his home in Brisbane. He'll also be introducing us to the wider tasting team. He joined in September as the Editor-in-Chief of the Halliday Wine Companion. Before we go any further, it's important that we pay our respects to the traditional owners of the land on which we meet, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and we pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. And I personally would like to express my impatience for a treaty or treaties in order to repair some of the damage of our past. So we'll be presenting through these awards the 7 major categories, as well as all the varietal winners as well, and the inaugural Viticulturalist Award. It's a really interesting one. And one bracket proved particularly interesting this year. There was a 3-way tie in one category, so watch out for that one. Now, as of tomorrow, the 2022 Wine Companion will be available in all good bookshops and available online as well at winecompanion.com.au. 9,000 wines are fully explored in the Wine Companion, all the detail that you've come to love and look forward to. So from tomorrow, look out for this year's Wine Companion. Now, throughout the awards, you can join in and follow on social media. We can't do anything without social media, can we? At Wine Companion on Instagram and Facebook. And you can even share how you're watching and what you're doing. Use the hashtag Halliday2022. Now, I'd like to officially welcome and thank all the sponsors for this year's awards. United Cellars, Vintech, Coravin, Vinomofo, With Wine, and Riedel. Thank you to each and every one of you for making these awards a reality. And I add that from tomorrow, August the 13th, United Cellars and Vinomofo will be offering newly rated and award-winning wine packs. So be sure to check those out too. These results follow months of tastings by the Halliday team, led by and comprising, of course, James Halliday with Tyson Stelzer and the expert panellists Jenny Port, Ned Goodwin, Jane Faulkner, Tony Love and Erin Larkin. Now, they have spent the year tasting and rating 9,000 Australian wines, and these reviews will roll out across the Halliday Wine Companion magazine, the website and the annual printed companion, the volume, for members and readers to provide the best possible insights into Australian wine. Now, I'd like to introduce you to Tyson Stelzer, who has just the other day recorded his views on what a big year it's been for the Australian wine industry.
I'm Tyson Stelzer, Chief Editor of the Halliday Wine Companion. Well, it'd be hard to imagine a year more dramatic in Australian wine than the one we just experienced. After years of relentless drought, bushfires and smoke taint, 2021 delivered a harvest deluge, not to mention the devastation of coronavirus and Chinese tariffs. And yet, in the midst of all of this chaos, it seems the optimism, adaptability and sheer resilience that Australian winemakers are famous for has flourished yet again. In many regions, this is shaping up to be one of the greatest vintages so far this century. In the midst of such an era of change, it seems somehow appropriate to usher in a brand new day for the Halliday Companion. It's been my joy and privilege this year to lead the team in vigorously seeking out the very finest wines of the year. We somehow managed to avoid border closures and assemble the whole team for the inaugural team judging of the Halliday Awards. Every taster singled out their top wine in every one of 17 categories. We lined them all up for 3 days of vigorous tasting and rigorous discussion, and we could not be more proud of the results, nor more thrilled to present them to you now. These are the stalwarts of Australian wine at the very top of their game. The newcomers who've transcended every expectation, the best of every variety, every region, every style, scrutinised by the biggest team we've ever put together and the most rigorous process that we've ever used. So sit back, pour yourself a very big glass. These are the awards of the year in Australian wine.
Thank you, Tyson, and welcome to the awards presentation. It's great to hear your perspective on this extraordinary year that it's been. Such an interesting year. Not the sort of year we want to have again. But briefly, can you tell me a little about the tasting team before we meet each one of them?
Hi, John. James and I were joined this year by Ned in Sydney, Jenny and Jane in Melbourne, and our new tasters this year, Tony Love in Adelaide, a seriously experienced and respected taster, and Erin Larkin in Perth, who would have to be Australia's most talented and energetic young blood on the wine communication front.
Well, thank you, Tyson. Now, we've got some footage of the tasting team taken from their collaborative judging earlier this year. So let's take a look at what each of the tasters had to say.
Australia's in a good place. Really seriously good wines. Change is good, but it's not just because it's a change that makes it good.
We are in such a blessed place in Australia. The thrill and the privilege of the Halliday Awards is we get to celebrate excellence.
This is a continent of wine, and this is something to be celebrated.
So the wines that are here are the best of the best. When that wine just gives you goosebumps or makes your heart stop, that's the wine.
I like the holistic, collaborative community that we've created here. I think with the regional approach, it really enables you to work with a great development of your ideas about how that regional works.
When you put 7 big personalities in a room together and ask us to fight over wines that we all love deeply, it's been really exciting, and I think the winners are worthy.
Australia's making the best wines we've ever made, and what a privilege it is to judge them and to recommend them for our readers around the world.
Our first award for the year is Best New Winery. Such an exciting award to start with. There were a record number of new wineries this year, 102 new wineries submitted. So Tyson, how does it make you feel to see so many new entrants for this award?
One of the biggest joys of a bigger tasting panel this year was the fact that we have representation in virtually every one of Australia's key wine states, which means that our tasters are just better connected with the regions and with the producers. There are something like 2,800 wineries across the Companion this year, and I reckon it's testimony to our dynamic industry that we were able to find more than 100 newcomers. And so seeking out and introducing some of the best new kids on the block has been a real thrill this year.
And what a vote of confidence at a time when this industry is under so much stress and strain and pressure.
We live in changing times, that's for certain, and while there's been a lot of challenge across the industry, the quality of wines that we're seeing, the diversity, the number of new wines, new varieties, new estates, new regions has never been more exciting.
Well, let's now hear about the finalists and the winner for the Best New Winery, proudly presented by With Wine.
The winner of the Best New Winery is Place of Changing Winds. It would be difficult to imagine a vineyard concept more rigorously or more courageously conceived than this tiny, close planted estate high in the Macedon Ranges.
My name is Robert Walters. I'm the owner of Place of Changing Winds Vineyard.
And I'm Rémi Jacquemin, and I've been working here for 4 years now with Rob, and I'm the vineyard manager.
We have a motto we like to use: no compromise, no regrets. We really want to be able to put our hand on our heart and say we do everything we possibly can to make the greatest, most expressive wine from our place.
Really, what we're trying to achieve in this vineyard is the highest level of quality we can get, and we do that through a really high density vineyard, which is quite unique in Australia. Almost 45,000 vines over 3 hectares.
The finest new brands never seem to come out of nowhere, and the obsessive and fanatical Robert Walters is Australia's leading importer of the top growers of Europe. He spent more than a quarter of a century scrutinising their methods, and now Robert, Rémi and their team have brought them to life in a plot of Pinot Noir and Chardonnay that's nothing short of revolutionary.
To win Best New Winery, it's really nice recognition from our peers of the hard work we've been putting in, so it feels great. Well, I think we're trying to keep this place a secret, aren't we, Ren?
Yeah.
This probably isn't a good start.
And hearty congratulations to Place of Changing Winds. Now we've got the first of the wines that have won their varietal categories, opening with sparkling wines. And this year the award is proudly presented by CORIOLE. And this is one of those brackets that's changed this year. So just the other day, Tyson explained a little more to us about those changes.
Sparkling rosé is now a very serious and firmly established sector of the Australian wine landscape. This prompted us this year to introduce our first category for sparkling rosé in the Halliday Companion Awards. When we came to lining it up against all the other 19 category winners, Halliday himself interjected and cleverly pointed out maybe we should first judge our sparkling of the year, our white of the year and our red wine of the year. And so were born the inaugural Halliday Wine Companion, Sparkling Wine of the Year, White Wine of the Year and Red Wine of the Year.
Thanks, Tyson. So now let's see those winners.
The sparkling white wine winner is Deviation Road, Beltana, Adelaide Hills, Blanc de Blanc 2014. The winner of Sparkling Rosé is BELLEBONNE, NATALIE FRYAR Vintage Rosé 2017. The year's Sparkling Red winner is Ashton Hills Vineyard, Clare Valley Sparkling Shiraz 2015. The sparkling wine of the year is Deviation Road, Beltana, Adelaide Hills, Blanc de Blanc 2014.
Now it's time to announce the Best Value Winery Award. Now, Tyson, previous winners have thoroughly disproved the notion that value means cheap. So how do you explain value when it comes to wine?
Every year in the Companion we award value rosettes to wines that offer special value for money. They could be $20 wines that score 90 points or perhaps $200 wines that score 98 points. This year in the book there are more than 1,400 value rosettes that we've awarded. In singling out the best value wineries of the year, we're not only looking for the highest strike rate of rosettes and the largest number of rosettes, but we're also looking for at least one wine under $20 that offers special value. Because value for money can come at any price point, but there's something extra special when it's a bargain quaffer.
Thanks, Tyson. So let's hear the finalists in this popular category and then the winner. And this award is proudly presented by Vinomofo.
The winner of the Best Value Winery is Lake Breeze Wines. Line them up wine for wine, dollar for dollar and point for point, and the value for money of this estate is just remarkable, with 4 wines under $20 and 4 under $30, all scoring between 90 and 97 points.
We're just so fortunate to have that connection to this property going back 170 years now to my great-great-great-grandfather. Such a rewarding thing to be farming the same piece of land for that length of time. My approach to winemaking is probably less is more. I mean, it's certainly more about the grapes. I really haven't been doing anything a hell of a lot different than I was when I first started nearly 30 years ago. It's very simplistic. It's picking the best fruit off of our beautiful old vineyards. You know, shaping that, moulding that a little bit, but it's really that raw material that's the key.
The Follett family's been humbly tending its vines on the shores of Lake Alexandrina since the 1880s, and they embody the heart and the soul of all that we love about Australian winemaking. It's a bonus that they also make the best value wines in the country.
Part of our mantra, as part of being a farming family and having been here for a long time, is that accessibility to our wines. We want everyone to be able to enjoy our wines, and value is a big part of that. Affordability is accessibility. You know, it's something that is hugely important to us, just to get our wine into as many mouths as we can.
Hey! What I mean, wanna see, what I see, what I feel, wanna dream, wanna be, I'm a freak, what up? Oh, what up? Hey! What I mean, wanna see, what I see, what I feel, wanna dream, wanna be, I'm a freak, what up? Oh, what up? Hey!
I started with wine because I was a customer who found it hard to buy wine direct from wineries. And that made me realise, if I'm finding it hard to buy, wineries would be finding it hard to sell. Back then I remember thinking surely someone has connected these dots, but I couldn't see any software providers that solve the wineries' problems by solving their customers' problems. So we built With Wine. We look at the customer's experience and make it easier. Easy to buy equals easy to sell. Visit withwine.com to book a demo today.
To celebrate the launch of the 2022 Halliday Wine Companion, our award winners, and the release of over 9,000 new tasting notes on August 13, we're giving you the opportunity to win the Ultimate Awards Pack worth more than $2,500. This year's prize features award-winning wines and the perfect accessories to help you enjoy your new collection, including a Lever 60-bottle wine fridge. To enter, make sure you're a Halliday Wine Companion member and tell us in 25 words or less which wine you would choose as your wine of the year and why. Entries close September 5th, 2021. Good luck!
By the Glass is Halliday Wine Companion's newest podcast. Join us each week as we chat with the who's who of Australian wine. So why not pour yourself a glass now and download us wherever you get your podcasts.
And a big thank you yet again to this year's sponsors who make this fantastic event possible. We're thrilled to have you as partners. Now let's move straight on to the Riesling and Chardonnay bracket and let's take a look.
The Riesling of the year is POOLEY, Margaret Pooley Tribute, Single Vineyard Tasmania Riesling 2020. This year, 3 Chardonnays tied for the top spot. The winners are Penfolds YATTARNA Bin 144 Chardonnay 2018, LEEUWIN Estate Art Series Margaret River Chardonnay 2018, Oakridge 864 single block release, dry block Under and Diamond Vineyard Yarra Valley Chardonnay 2019.
Congratulations to all those great white wines. Now Tyson, can you tell us about what happened when you were judging the Chardonnay Award?
At the end of judging each category, every one of the 7 judges ranked every wine in order from best to least, and we added up the results. In the Chardonnay category, when we did that, of the wines that were included, we could literally not separate the 3 top wines. It turned out that there were 3 different wines from 3 different producers in 3 different regions at the very top level. So we then separated them out, asked the judges to cast their votes again, and again we could not split them. So we decided it was time to change the rules a little bit and have our very first ever 3-way tie in the Halliday Awards. We figure it's appropriate in what is, after all, the strongest category of white wines of the year.
Well, what a turn-up, a 3-way tie. Incredible. Now let's move straight on to the Dark Horse Winery of the Year. Let's take a look at this year's finalists and the winner. This award is sponsored by and presented by Riedel.
The winner of the Dark Horse Winery is Rensselaer Wines. Hailing from the Central Ranges near Bathurst, there's something strangely appropriate about a dark horse galloping in from an unexpected outpost of Australian viticulture. All the more so when it's energised by the passion of a new generation.
My name's Sam Rensselaer. My parents planted the vineyard here in 1997. Being the second generation wine producer here, some of my earliest memories in these vines, it's quite vindicating for my parents and myself to see what was initially a huge gamble in terms of planting vines in an area that doesn't really have a wine growing tradition. See that culminate to winning an award like this, it's a pretty good feeling, and it shows that there's still a huge amount of untapped potential in the Australian wine landscape. There's a lot of land that doesn't have vines, and very exciting for the future of what we can achieve here.
Rensselaer wowed the tasting team when it charged all the way to the final taste-off for Cabernet Sauvignon of the year.
When we heard about the award, we were out in the vineyard, quite humbling and very exciting to think that people see what we're doing here as worthy of this kind of merit. So it's a good feeling and a testament to all the hard work my folks have put in up to this moment.
And congratulations to Rensselaer Wines. Now let's have a look at the final white wine winners. Tyson, can you briefly explain for us, please, the process this year for selecting White Wine of the Year?
John, there's something quite special about a new award evolving quite organically on the judging floor rather than being contrived in a strategy meeting. And when we lined up our top white wines, James suggested, why don't we judge these white wines together before we then select our top wine of the year? And so we lined up our top Riesling, Semillon, Chardonnay, Sauvignon and other white and voted on the results. And from that emerged our inaugural White Wine of the Year.
So it's like the best of the best in show.
We've never had a top White Wine of the Year before, and this is it. So I think it's a very exciting new category.
Almost like a swimmer's individual medley.
Exactly.
Well, let's take a look at the winners.
The Semillon winner is MEEREA Park Alexander Munro Individual Vineyard, Aged Release Hunter Valley Semillon 2011. The year's best Sauvignon Blanc is Terre à Terre Crayère Vineyard Rattenbully Sauvignon Blanc 2019. The other whites winner is Coriolele Rubato Reserve McLaren Vale FIANO 2020. The white wine of the year is Penfolds YATTARNA Bin 144 Chardonnay 2018.
Corvin Model 11 is the biggest technological leap that Corvin has taken since we launched. It is the first automatic Bluetooth connected Corvin system, and that is truly the fastest, easiest, and most fun way to pour wine. The Corvin Moments app is driven by our belief that wine can accentuate the wonder of the moments that we're alive. If you can pair that wine not only with the food that you love, but with the music that you love, the movies, the books, the friends, the experiences, and optimize that and share it. That's a dream of Corvin from the time I founded
it. What's in a moment on the tip of your tongue? The history of each grain of soil held still in time. Age-old techniques, moments of innovation. Every vintage stored, captured, sought after. Just so when the time is right, this history can be shared in perfect condition at the perfect temperature. Vintech, how will you add to your wine story?
Certainly when you're tasting them.
Balance. It's got this great vibrance.
Great variety from the shape.
Joining us tonight. So we have today with you good habits with Maison Charpentier to the wine.
And once again, a huge thank you to all of our sponsors, without whom, of course, none of this is possible, and congratulations to all the winners so far. But now, very exciting, on to our inaugural Viticulturist Award. The other day, Tyson provided some background for this new category.
In introducing our inaugural Viticulturist of the Year, we were looking for the individual whose wines best exemplify the finest practice in the vineyards. And in awarding this to one person, we acknowledge that the teams around them are equally worthy of recognition.
Well, thank you, Tyson. So now for the announcement. And this award is presented by Corvin.
The winner of Viticulturist of the Year is Vanya Cullen of Cullen Wines. Vanya possesses a deeply emotional connection with her vines and her land like nobody else, more profound even than 18 years in determined pursuit of biodynamics. She exemplifies the quest for truly great wines, from healthy soils and happy vines, making Vanya the mother of biodynamics in Australia.
I'm really grateful and very honoured to be the first recipient of the Viticulture Award. I think it's a great initiative to have this award because the vineyard is where the wine comes from, and I think in the journey of Australian wine and land, it's just so exciting. Biodynamic is a complete program of using the planets and plants to be able to activate the land. But what we've realised in that process of doing that is that we actually get better quality fruit.
This year we raise a glass with her to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the remarkable story that is Cullen.
Through the activation, through the microbiology, we get the voice of the vineyard is getting louder in the glass, which is a very beautiful thing with respect to land, wine and place in a very real, authentic way.
Congratulations to Vanya Cullen and all the team at Cullen Wines, a former winner of our Winemaker of the Year award. Now we have some red varietal winners to announce, so let's take a look at them.
The winning rosé is La Prova Adelaide Hills Nebbiolo Rosato, a 2020. The winning Pinot Noir is Bindi Block 5 Pinot Noir 2019. The Grenache winner is Thistledown, Sands of Time, Old Vine, Single Vineyard, Blewett Springs, McLaren Vale, Grenache 2019. The Shiraz of the Year trophy goes to Tyrrell's 4 Acres Outer Valley Shiraz 2019.
And congratulations, hearty congratulations to all those winners. And just as with the white wines, one of the red varietal winners tonight will be awarded Red Wine of the Year and be in the running then for Wine of the Year. Now Tyson, we're up to the Winemaker of the Year award, which like the other categories this year, compiled some amazing winemaking talent on a short list. So what do you believe makes for a great winemaker?
Winemaker of the Year is the individual whose wines best exemplify winemaking practice. And for the very first time this year, we are thrilled to announce our inaugural shortlist for Winemaker of the Year. Every one of the 7 tasters nominated their own choice of the winemaker and then presented to the whole team as to why they felt they were worthy. Our final decision was quite involved actually, and we took into account not only every wine that was submitted for the companion this year and the past history of submissions over the years, but also our personal knowledge of the winemakers and their talents and abilities in the winery.
Is this kind of almost like the ultimate accolade, even though all the individual wines are important, but winemaker, that's extra special?
It's almost like a lifetime achievement, isn't it? Something that takes into account not just individual varieties and vintage conditions, but the sum life work of winemakers. And I know from speaking with the winners of the past that this is an incredibly special moment in their career.
And this year, with such difficulties for the industry, even more so. So let's have a look at Winemaker of the Year presented by Vintech.
The winner of Winemaker of the Year is Michael Dillon of Bindi. The tiny and beloved estate of the Dillon family, high in the Macedon Ranges, is the only winery this year to qualify for nominations for Winery, Winemaker and Viticulturist of the Year.
I'm Michael Dillon from Bindi in the Macedon Ranges. The winemaking approach here at Bindi is all about seeking harmony, and that begins in the vineyard, healthy farming, healthy grapes. We don't try and force the fruit down any one particular path to be something that it doesn't want to be. We try and interpret what that season has given us and how that fruit appears and how it wants to be turned into a wine of great balance.
A reflective and insightful thinker, Michael embodies a deep and intimate connection with his land, his history and his community. His gentle touch in the vines and in the wines have crafted the finest set of Pinots in the country this year.
The day Tyson called me, I was a little overwhelmed when he said that you've been nominated for Winemaker of the Year, but when he said you've won that award, my mind went straight away to the love and care of my mother and the mentoring of my father, and this opportunity that I have to live here in the way that we do and bring up our children here and engage our friends and family in what we do. I was a little teary.
Halliday Wine Companion is the home of great Australian wine. Discover winecompanion.com.au, which features more than 150,000 tasting notes to help you navigate your next wine purchase. Plus, with the Halliday Virtual Cellar, you can electronically store and create wine wish lists, a must for anyone with a wine collection. Plan your next getaway with more than 3,600 winery and cellar door reviews and immerse yourself in a world of wine with a subscription to Halliday magazine. Visit winecompanion.com.au to become a member and you'll never drink a bad bottle of wine again.
Tradition, innovation, in the 11th generation. Riedel, the perfect wine glass.
It's been a big year for Halliday. The tasting team is now taking a regional approach for one, and there are other big changes to be announced. The wider Halliday team is working in partnership with so many wineries all around the country, and hopefully we'll all be able to enjoy cellar door experiences sometime again soon. This year we also debuted the People's Choice Award for the Best Winery Experience. An overwhelming number of votes came in from Australian wine lovers, and this worthy winner was announced just last week. Well, now let's hear about Winery of the Year award. It's always a big one, and this year it went through some serious debate amongst the panel. Now, Halliday has been awarding this title for a long time, but for you, Tyson, what constitutes the Winery of the Year?
In one way, Winery of the Year is perhaps the simplest accolade to award because it is just the winery with the highest scoring wines. But in another way, it's probably the hardest because this year there were more than 9,000 wines in the mix, spanning every variety, every region and every style. There's never been a greater diversity at the very top end in Australian wine, and we really wanted to acknowledge and celebrate that this year. So we have named for the very first time our top 10 finalists for Winery of the Year.
Well, let's find out. Which one is Winery of the Year, proudly presented and generously presented by United Cellars?
The winner of Winery of the Year is YARRA.
My name is Sarah Crowe. I'm the winemaker and general manager here at YARRA. Our responsibility as the current custodians of YARRA is to not only appreciate the long history that we've inherited, but to set the vineyard up for a long and prosperous future. The legacy of YARRA is these amazing wines of complexity and intensity that also have the ability to live for a very long time.
In the 50th year since Dr. Bailey Carrodus planted his vines and pioneered the modern era of Yarra viticulture, the wines of 2019 that we reviewed this year carry a beguiling grace and a breathtaking refinement. Sarah Crowe has embraced his vision and his legacy, all the while elevating the beautiful fruit from this site with her own intuitive and sensitive approach. The wines she's crafted from this fabled place have stepped forward this year as the very finest in the country.
Each year I just grew more and more comfortable with putting my own personality into the wines and taking all of my experience, and I've just got to know the vineyard more intimately each year. I think for the team, winning Winery of the Year really does cement all the work that they do on a daily basis. So I think everyone's going to be really, really pleased.
Wow, congratulations to Sarah Crowe and the team at YARRA. An incredible pool of finalists, and Sarah is of course a previous Winemaker of the Year winner. Now we have the last of our red varietal winners, so let's take a look.
This year, a new Cabernet Shiraz category has been won by Yalumba, the Kaylee, Coonawarra Barossa Cabernet Shiraz 2016. Topping the Cabernet Sauvignon category is Yarra CARRODUS Cabernet Sauvignon 2019. The winner of Cabernet and Family is Yarra Dry Red No. 1 2019. The other red winner is SC Panel McLaren Vale Aglianico 2019. The winning fortified is Seppeltsfield 100-year-old are a vintage Tawny 1921. The red wine of the year is Yarra Yering Dry Red number 1 2019.
Well, there's just one award remaining. It's Wine of the Year. This is the big one, the big accolade. And I know that the tasting team were blown away, Tyson, by the calibre of all the wines put forward, and it led to some interesting discussions. So Tyson, the tasting team were almost unanimous in selecting the winner. Can you tell us about the judging process for this Wine of the Year award?
When we lined up the Sparkly Wine of the Year, the White Wine of the Year and the Red Wine of the Year for the Grand Champion vote for Wine of the Year, no second voting was necessary because 6 of the 7 tasters selected the same wine as their winner.
Well, that pretty much tells us all we need to know. So let's find out the final winner this year, the Wine of the Year.
The winner of the Wine of the Year is Yarra Yering Dry Red number 1 2019.
It wasn't really my intention to become a winemaker, it was a bit of an accident, but I can't imagine doing anything else now. It's a little bit crazy to be winning 2 awards. I couldn't be more pleased though that it is for the Dry Red Wine number 1. It's Yarra Yering's flagship wine and probably the wine that makes me the most nervous, because I want people to smell it and sense Yarra Yering and taste it and feel like it's come from this vineyard.
In the final panel taste-off for Red Wine of the Year, this wine went head-to-head with its brother, Yarra Yering CARRODUS Cabernet from the same vintage, and it effectively became a 2-horse race. The blend, of course, took the honours and went all the way to Wine of the Year. Cabernet Sauvignon and its blends are the true hero of the Yarra Valley. To capture such purity and enduring structure in a wine of such elegance and grace is surely the holy grail of Cabernet and the ultimate pursuit of any wine.
I personally would like to thank the team at Yarra Yering for coming on this ride with me for us to make the best wines that we can year in, year out, so huge thanks to everyone.
And congratulations then to Yarra Yering, the first time that any winery has won 2 major awards in the same year. Thank you again to each of our sponsors, United Cellars, Vintech, Coravin, Vinomofo, With Wine and Riedel. And we'd also like to thank James Halliday again for your legacy, your vision, your leadership for the Australian wine industry over so many decades. Now, Tyson, thank you for joining us throughout the presentation. It's been great to be able to talk through these awards and to hear the context and the background to each of them. And it comes at a time when the industry is thriving despite so many challenges.
It's been such an honour for me this year to step up to Chief Editor and work alongside James and the entire tasting team. And what a thrill tonight to announce the record number of award winners in the history of the Halliday Awards. For me and my tastings and my experience, I can say the Australian industry has never been in a better place. What a thrill. Congratulations, everyone.
Well, on behalf of everybody, I'd like to thank the tasting team once again, led by James, with Tyson, Jane, Jenny, Ned, Erin and Tony, who make this whole thing possible. With a special thanks also going to the Halliday Tasting Manager, Emily Lightfoot, as well as the Hardy Grant Publishing team and everyone at HGX. So on behalf of Halliday Wine Companion, a big thank you to the Australian wine industry for their ongoing support, your ongoing support, and for submitting your wines for judging. Just incredible. Now be sure to keep your eye on winecompanion.com.au for all the winner details, and the magazine, where you'll be able to read more about all of these winners. And the book, as mentioned, is available from tomorrow at all good bookshops and via the Wine Companion website. Halliday members are also able to access more than 9,000 new wine tasting notes and the ratings from tomorrow, so be sure to log in and explore your selections. So thank you for joining us. Congratulations again to all the incredible winners, and goodbye.